Good morning, everybody. It's Connie, and it is 10 o'clock Central, and I am live on a Friday. And today I have been wanting to show you these postage dies for a while, and they're an easily overlooked thing in the catalog. So one of the things Stampin' Up! Did with this new catalog is they brought forward some items out of their last little mini catalog. And since they were so highly featured in the other catalog, they didn't feature them highly in here. So they're just mentioned right here on page 107 of the Big Bertha style catalog. There is right here, it says perennial postage dies 162607 is the number, and it's $33. There's also on that same page that beautiful Nature Sweetness designer series paper. It's like I've used it a few times now. I absolutely love it. I may buy more just because I've been using so much of it. There's also the perennial lavender paper on this page. So there's several things. This is where you get your basic envelopes. There's several things on this page that are just more or less listed. And if you were just flipping through the catalog and you saw the heading of invitations, you wouldn't even, hesitate. I mean, I wouldn't even read that page. I would just kind of move on. So that's why it's hard to find. It is online, and because it's been out for a little while since last, I don't know if this came out in January, I'm not sure, but since these dies have been around for a bit, you can find artwork all over Pinterest and the internet. But today I have a lot of artwork to show you. What's really nice about these is that you don't have to use them like postage per se, like I'm using them. You could just use this and make a card front, with the postage type edging. And then, it has this style of edge to it. So you could just use this on the back of a card. You can use you could just use, say, 2 or 3 squares on the front of a card and, make a card front, just design a little something. So there's options here for using these, for card fronts. And I just kind of started playing around with the different shapes and trying to make them fit together like a puzzle. And so you can do it. You could mat this larger, which you will see that I have done on a few of my cards. And so I'm just going to give you some ideas, and then I'm going to show you how I colored them, which is probably a lot more work than you want to do. But I just took some of the shapes and kind of played around with what fit within, within the space. The only one I'm not totally happy with is this little bitty one, because it just feels a little small. But I used it anyway, so there you go. That is the kind of makeup that I did. Now you can, depending on what stamps you use, you can turn this any way you want. So if you have a message, for example, that's kind of big, you could put it in the bigger square, or you could put a little one off to the side. You could do it this way if you have something long that you want. You'll see in a couple of my cards, I really rearranged how I used this configuration so that it would accommodate my stamps. So let's start with some of the ones you've seen already. This one is the little dog stamp. I just think it's adorable. Now this one is like 100% close to my heart, other than the postage dies. So it's the same configuration here. I'll just leave this out so you can sort of see what I did. It's the same kind of configuration. I just turned this around. You can see, like, I made this square low and this square high. I mean, you can see how I rearranged it so that it balanced my images a little better, but it really cute. And then I did go ahead and I put that on this size, and then I just matted it with a little orange. And then these are left over from a mix-in pack from a while back. I still have like 3 sheets of paper from that mix-in pack, and I keep hoarding it because I like the color scheme of it, but it's time to use it up and get rid of it. So that is one card. Now, I've got a lot of messages on this one. This one is Stampin' Up. And I absolutely love how it turned out. You saw my live that I did last week or earlier, last Friday, I think, using this, this fish set. It's so cute. And I did the exact same thing where I outlined it with the blue that I shaded on the outside. And you can see one thing that makes it look like postage, right, is that there's actually a border around each shape. And then I actually just used a marker to write in postage amounts, which makes them look like stamps. Fun. Okay. This one I had a person in mind to send this to. So I was like, oh, this plant set does not have dies. This is a fussy cutting crazy thing. And it's not dirt, it's garden glitter. Is actually a different brand. I'm not really supposed to show other brands, but I have a whole bunch of gardening themed, plant themed stamps. So all of it is Stampin' Up except for that. And these little flowers were the flowers that were big during Melon Mania last year. And then just a little heart. And then I just drew around the edge because it just felt plain. You know, I had problems with empty spaces, apparently. Okay, so this one is really fun. Oh, it's cool. You can see there's the configuration I used, the big, the long, the little square, the little one here. I'm actually, even though I don't love this little tiny one here, because it feels like it needs just to be a little bit wider. I am having fun with it. So this one is the watermelon stamps that a lot of people got from close to my heart. And honestly, if you go in your stash, I bet you got fruit. I bet you have something that would fit just fine. I did not think that watermelon was going to fit in my stamp range. I was going to just have it off the edge, like just kind of, you know, over here on the border, but it worked. And you can see I used a larger message. The background is this really cool embossing folder. It's a distressed tile 3D embossing folder. And what I like about it is that it's not just an even squish. It's got like faded areas. So some of it looks, you know, perfect, and then some of it not as perfect. And that's it. It just gives it a little texture, and I like how it looked in the background. So I just love how that one turned out. Sorry, I'm making a pile over here. Okay, this one, I broke all the rules. I used all kinds of stamp sets on this one. I have a lot of food stamps, donut stamps, things like that. And so this one, I used the, let's see, I brought it all. I used these giant, I mean, these are big. These are like 3-inch circles, okay? 3-inch, maybe? I can't get used to this measuring. 2.5. They're 2.5-inch circles. I think they're bigger. But anyway, big giant donuts. I loved the Life is Short, Eat More Donuts. You give me your dozen reasons to smile. This is a close to my heart set. That's kind of, it was a Hostess reward set a million years ago when we did Hostess rewards. They just did away with those, but you can kind of see, here's my scheme. I did the long, and I needed this one for the message, and you can see my message didn't exactly fit. So I just foamed it on top, and I think it turned out nice. The little sprinkles come from this set. I colored these in. Now, this little teeny donut, I have a little donut. I have a lot of donuts, okay? The little double donut comes from this Mama Elephant set. And I love the messages like, you're old, but you don't look it. You don't even know how excited I am about your birthday. And then they have this little mouse popping out of a donut. It's so cute. But I just needed something that would fit into this space. And so I used that donut. And then I had this Stamps of Life they had like this little freebie that they gave away a long time ago. And so I have that little donut that I cut out and used on this one right here. This donut set is from Lawn Fawn, and it has little faces and stuff. I have never even used that. I also have a really nice one from the Ton that is like a whole background. But like I said, I don't want to break rules. Stampin' Up doesn't like you to show other brands, but my feeling is you need all the brands to make all the cool stuff. If you want to really make fun things, it's nice to have a variety to pick from. See, look how cool that looks. And that is like every brand. And these little dots right here are the Stampin' Up dots that come in 3 colors. These are the dappled dots, adhesive back dappled dots. And I love that they're like Baskin Robbins colors. Do you see that? And I can't remember which paper this is supposed to coordinate with, but I love them. So one of you Stampin' Up people who know your colors can tell me about that. Now, the other thing that I have, I love My Favorite Things for their very quirky, different messages. They have a lot of puns, and I like to do puns, and they have things that are really unique. Like they have messages related to donuts, messages related to pizza, messages related to pop and soda. They have all those weird things that you can't find other places. And so I accidentally bought this twice. If one of you are into donuts and you would like to buy this from me, message me. I paid $15.99, but I'll sell it for $12. So if you're interested in a set that's never even been opened on donuts, first come, first serve. Okay. I don't know why I do that. I keep track of all my stamps. I really do. And I don't look at it before I go shopping, apparently. Okay, so this is my latest one, which I think is really, really cute. And I was thinking about purple because I haven't done anything purple for a really long time. Purple is not my favorite color, but I just haven't worked with it for a while. And I am in love with this Stampin' Up! Simply Sparkling set. It is so cute. I can't help it. It has this pop can, the bubbles, the splush. It has different fruit. It has a lot of different little messages, and those little tiny messages are really tiny. They really do fit on here. And so I was like, ooh, that's a good one. And here's the dies. I think I've shown those. And see, the bubbles die cut is really cool. Look how big. That's an extra one. And this is an extra. This is an extra. All the rest fit stamps. So this is a really good one. This is another one I bought 2 of. Why the heck did I do that? But anybody interested in a second one or in my second one? If so, I'll give you a deal. So just message me if you love it. The other thing that I used was this Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder, and it's huge. This thing is huge. It is 6 1/4 by 8 1/2. I mean, that is big. And it was really cool to take, like, you know, I chopped a piece of paper in half, like it's 6 inches, and I ended up with this huge embossed image, and I was like, okay, I gotta play with this. What it does is it makes these really neat raised dots, and on the other side, it's debossed, and the debossed side is just as cool as the embossed side. And what I thought would work on this really well is this background to make it look like bubbles, because I have so many bubbles on the stamps. And I need to work on my stamping just a little bit, because I initially put the 2 pieces together and stamped the image, and when I separated it, there was like, I don't know, there was like, it made the can look smashed or something, and so I re-stamped the top of the pop can, and I did it too far. So I need to work on that just a little, but overall, I think it turned out really cute. These, this splush, I just stamped it and then colored all below it. And then the, that fizzy looking stamp right here on the can is actually a separate stamp. And I used it on the splush just to give it some shading, because I was too lazy to shade it. And I wasn't exactly sure how to shade it, and I was like, ah, that works. And then, of course, I put color and left the white border. I did some stamp surgery on my You're So Delightful. This one is like one long line, and I needed it to fit on my square, and I'm like, I am unlikely to use this as one long line, but I still can if I want to. I just trimmed it. You can kind of see I trimmed it here and here so that I can use it together if I need to, but you know, don't need to. All right. So that is fun. Isn't that fun? This is like an amazing thing. I debated a lot on coloring in the little dots to look like bubbles, because I was like, well, I can, you know, make these a color like kind of random all over, but I think I like them the way they are. And then these little dots right here, I have one here and here and here and here. Do you see those? They are not purple, obviously. They are clear, and they are the Mediterranean dots that are like blue and yellow and white. And I just use my, I just use my marker and I color them so that they match, they match my set. This is the only marker I used. I'd never used a pink violet blend. I had never used it before. I was like, oh, let's make it that color. The paper in the background, Stampin' Up! Has these packs that are 6x6. You can see I have a lot of scrap here. But basically, you can buy them in their Regals or their Brights, Neutrals, whatever. And I bought several of these so that I would have them for this purpose. I just really wanted to be able to have card bases in the right colors or in colors I want, just a variety of patterns. I like it. They're always coming out with some different pattern that I like. So, okay, let me clear this off so we can make our next project. So now that we have, our postage thing, I kind of wanted to do a cookie themed postage. Okay. So what I did was I got out this set and I, die cut a whole bunch of the images. So here we have, sorry you're feeling crummy, chip, chip, hooray, have a sweet holiday season, because this came out as a Christmas set. And so I'm going to, I thought, I'm not going to make it Christmassy, you guys, but I like the red and glacier and white together. I think that looks kind of cool. And so we're going to work on this postage. And I did go ahead and use the die cut to cut out some little hearts. I don't know how I'll use them or if I'll use them. And then I have the postage. Now, I just have to decide what I want on what image, so I can decide. I want the plate with a plate of cookies. Maybe I could put the plate on the square. If I do that, I love this chip, chip, hooray. It's not going to fit on this one. It's almost got to be on this one. So this is going to be my message, chip, chip, hooray. I'll put it at the top. And then I'll do the plate hanging off the side on this one, and I'll put some cookies on it. And then this one is the only one that'll hold the milk. And down here, I'll just do maybe a couple of cookies. And then here, maybe here is where I'll put the hearts. I like that. Okay, so let's prep them. Here's the deal with these. To make the white border, you've got to mask it off. Now, I have a lot of masking tapes. I have that blue tape, this blue tape from Close to My Heart. It works amazing. If you have that, I have, this is like a special tape that they sell that's supposed to be, it's like washi tape. Washi tape would work just fine. I'm going to use this today just because you can see through it. The blue tape you can't see through. It's a little harder on video. The other thing that I did, and you guys probably remember me doing this, I used the big giant roll of blue masking tape that Close to My Heart has, and I basically rolled it out and I put packing tape over the top of it just to give it a little more sturdiness. Hi, Heather. And then I just used a knife to cut the little squares. Now that is a trip. It's a bit of a challenge. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as it should be. But once you have it, you know, you have it, and you have this cool border already made, and it's fast and easy, and you can store that with your stamps. But I'm going to show you today we're going to do the little yellow tape. Now this yellow tape is a little bit over sticky. So when you put it on, you have to be careful when you pull it off, because it will also pull off your paper. And so before I use it the first time, I like to kind of pat it onto my shirt or something, or touch it with my hands all over, so that it's not quite so, I'm sticking it to my glass mat. How's that for use of the glass mat? I have used I use the all-purpose mat for stuff like this too. That's a little crooked. I don't think it's gonna matter, but see, that pulled just a tiny, tiny bit of paper off. I hate that. But anyway, what's everybody doing? What are you doing today, Heather? Anything fun? My husband is off today. It's Friday. Our drywall is done, other than painting, and I can't decide what color I want everything to be, so we're not quite ready to paint. So I think we're gonna hang out together. We're gonna actually go do something, because we have just been so incredibly busy between my stamp classes that I've been having, and my training. I've been having physical therapy, and then with him, we working, and then we've been doing the house stuff. So we're like, we need a day. We need a day of nothing. So that's our day today. So there's that. And I don't need to mask that one off, because I'm just going to if I use the little hearts on it, I don't think I'll need to mask that. So I'm going to hold off on that one. And I'm just reusing my tape that I have here from this is another one of those projects where it really is good to do multiples. Like if you're gonna do one, you might as well do 4. I'm just saying, it really does. It's like, oh, just do a bunch and get it done. All right, let's see what else I have here. I have this little one. And here, okay, I have just a tiny, I think I need a little piece up there. All right, so all my pieces are masked, and now I kind of need to decide, like, if I'm going to put my message here, I feel like I need a background color of some kind. I pulled out these colors to use because I just thought that went good with cookies. So I'm just going to go ahead and put Glacier on this one here. Okay. And when you do this, it really helps to have a background. If you keep this all white, then you lose your postage look. Hold on a sec. Have my little so yes, exactly. Cut it into acetate. You know what I was thinking would work really good for this? If you have punches, you could punch them onto a piece of cardstock and then make a hole and use that negative space, kind of like this, you know. Okay, so I have that one. Now, as a balance, I feel like this one probably should be the same. I don't know. Maybe that's just my eyes, but I feel like it'll look better. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit swooshy, because we're going to stamp over it. Okay, so there's that. Now, up here we were going to do the milk. Now, I cut the milk out. We could have, the way this is set up is it's not it's not a stamp of the milk jug. It's a stamp of the milk inside the jug, and then the jug is a die. So I had to do it this way. It's going to stick up just a little bit. I could trim it, and I might actually. I might trim it just a little after I stamp it, but I need a background here, and I could do a real soft red or a pink, or the brown. I think I'll do the red. I know the red is bold. Candy apple red is bold. So you have to use a super light touch. I'm barely touching it because I don't want it red. I just want it soft so that when that milk jug goes against it, you can see the milk jug, right? So again, another little soft, yeah, like that. And then I'll have this little heart thing here, and I'll just leave it white, I think. And then this is going to be the plate of cookies. I'll do it red also. Soft. Okay. That is enough of shading. Now we need to stamp our images, and we're gonna get our different pieces ready. I have a bunch of cookies. I don't know how many I need, to be honest. I have no idea, but I just thought, while I'm making cookies, I might as well make more than I need in case I do 2 of them. I also have a straw. So, all right. So the cookies need to be, I'm gonna use a big thing. The cookies can be toffee with espresso chips or shortbread. I can't remember which color I used in the past that I really liked. Oops, let me wipe that off. Big mess. So I am just going to, oh yeah, this is shortbread, and it's fine. And I'm not even really lining this up. I'm just, because the stamp is a little bigger than the cookie anyway. These almost look like they could be butter cookies. So this morning, our internet was out. Very frustrating. I'm gonna go ahead and do this on the bite cookies also. This is how I assembly line stuff, you guys. I'm like, okay, like for example, if I was gonna make, you know, 4 or 5 of these cards, I would just assembly line stamp boat tons of these cookies. I would just do a ton of them. And then the chips will make espresso. And too dark? I don't know. I like it. I could make some of them sugar cookies, but I like all the chocolate chips. So I'm going to just do them all that way. I'm going to do the bite cookies also. All right. Woo! There's chocolate chips. Now, the milk is the weird thing because it's just like the fill line. And so, you know, milk doesn't have much of a real color. So I think, I could just use black or gray. Maybe I'll grab my gray just a sec here. By using gray, it's not so harsh. If I'm not going to use black anywhere else, it really is like overwhelming to have. Because that gray is dark enough. All right, so there's the milk. And then I have this little straw. I'm not sure I'm going to use the little straw, but just in case I do, I'm going to make it in red. It is hard to stamp the way I did it. It's easier to stamp it first, and then I'm going to put this in front of me. It may be off camera a little bit because I got to line it up, but there. Close enough. These are so cute. Now, the other thing that I need to do is the message, chip, chip, hooray. And I want it a darker color. I think I'm going to use the espresso. I don't think I'm going to use the pewter. And I could do it on white, cut it out, but I'm just going to stamp it directly onto my postage stamp. And then here's my edge. And I think what I'm going to do, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to cut this chip in half, this cookie in half. And I can put it on the edge of the postage like that. So when I remove everything, it'll look like, it'll like emphasize the edge of the postage. Cute. Okay, this milk, I feel like the bottle needs some edging. I obviously need to get my marker. Let's see. I'll use my ice blue blend, which is kind of kind of close to that glacier color. And I want to outline the milk jug. And, make it look like glass. Pick it up. So I think that looks pretty good. And then, let me just... Yeah, I like that better. Okay. I could just pop it right into the center, but I kind of like it like this, and I can put the straw in it. So I need to cut it. I need to cut it off. Remember, you can always make another, or you can cut it more, but you can't cut it less. All right, I'm gonna cut it straight up and down here so that it will make a corner. And then I'm gonna cut the bottom of my straw off. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put glue right here on the end of my straw and then lay the bottle on it like this. I could lay it like this. Maybe I'll do that. Hold on a minute. That way because you would be able to see it through the bottle, right? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then just to make it look, you know, like the bottle, get my marker back out. Make it look like it's inside the bottle. All right, so I need to cut off my milk a little more. Boy, is that cute. That is really cute. I just keep trimming it a little more, a little more, a little more. All right, so I think I may put a dot of foam tape on there because I like the idea of this being raised up just a little bit. This, I think it's adorable. Look at that. Oh, I love it. Oh, you know, they have this word milk. Oh, I really need to put that on there. I'm trying to decide if I can do that with that foam tape in the way. That's not good. Why did I wait? All right, let's see how I do. If I screw it up, I will, no, it's fine. I was gonna say, I'll just use a pen and write it if I have to. Not always perfect, but anyway, the only other stamp I really need to do is the plate. And I want it here, and I need it to be, gosh, it's just a donut. It's just a circle. Do I know what color I want that to be? Do I want to make it red or blue or gray or brown? I don't know, because I do want my cookies to show up against it. So maybe I'll just go with the pewter again. I could make it a red plate. That might look too much. I got a lot of red going here. Red, when you use it too much, it becomes a holiday color. It's like, well, is it Valentine's? Is it Christmas? All right, hold on a minute. This looks blotchy. I'm gonna get a scratch paper and see if I need to stamp this off. I need to see how that looks. Oh no, oh gosh, that's cool. Is that gonna be the right color? It's awful dark. Yeah, you know, the problem, of course, showing any Stampin' Up or close to my heart stuff is that if you don't have it, it's gone. I mean, you can look for it. There's tons of people totally selling off their stamps. I mean, I'm shocked. Like this week, the close to my heart people are out in force selling off their whole stash. It's like everybody just sort of realized, well, close to my heart's done. You know, we're done. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel off my tape pieces here. And remember, use a light touch because they will tear if you have tape that is too new or hasn't been used. This I have used at least once, most of it, so that helps. And if it tears, it's not the end of the world. You can, it doesn't show really, but it can tear off the part you've colored. That shows. So, yes, I can't, you know what? I think that probably forever I will be showing everything I own. I own everything. I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have every brand and every style, and my taste is a little eclectic and different. And so to tell me that I can only show one type of thing is so hard. Up there, see? I tore just a smidge right there. Darn paper. This isn't my favorite tape. This is like this tape, this yellow tape, I can't remember which company sells it, and they just think it's the greatest thing to hold. Most people use it to hold their dies down, but I have a magnetic mat, so I don't have to do that. So there's those. And I just reuse these over and over again. And this really is kind of the easiest way, I think, to do it. So, all right. Let's put some cookies on, and we'll put some flat. And remember, we have to cut some because we have an edge over here. And if you have an imperfect part, you know, like an imperfect edge, this is a great way to just make that edge a lot, you know, straighter looking. I'm trying to think of the word. But you know, it's like, it's a great way to make it look better. Okay. There's that. And I just keep adding more foam tape. It makes this card a little crazy because I'm going to foam tape up the different postage also. But okay, yeah, I like that. Alrighty. We have it kind of hanging off. There is that. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then this one, I could just put the word yum or something, but I'm just gonna put a couple more cookies. I have some old close to my heart stamps that are like chocolate chip shape, like a Hershey's Kiss shape. And that would be really cute on here. I just keep going. I've gotten one more cookie if I want to use it. But I like this, just like this. Okay. Yeah. And then this little one, I'm going to put the hearts across. And I think this one, I'm not going to worry about the edge of the stamp, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not going to make a white border, for example. I'm just going to cut that heart, and that's going to be right there. Okay. So adorbs. Adorbs, adorbs. I know, okay. So I have a few things that I need to sell. I do. But I am, and I'll probably sell some of my close to my heart stamps that I'm tired of, or that I know I'll never ever use again because I've used them so much. But honestly, most of my stamps I'll just keep. Okay, now these I want popped up on foam tape, and I know the foam tape thing is slow. It's a slow process, but I'll try to hurry so that you're not sitting here watching me tape everything. So the idea is to just get it raised up so there's a little tiny bit of shadow between this background and the stamps. And so you don't have to use gobs of tape, but I tend to over tape, Okay. I think any food stamps work great for this. So I have a pizza set. I love the little Stampin' Up Pizza Man, and the little Stampin' Up Pizza guy would be adorable on this with the different veggies and stuff. I just haven't done it yet. But I have all these extras cut so that I could play around a little bit. Were you here early enough, Heather, to see the other cards? Maybe I'll show them one more time at the end because they're cool. So I'm super happy with how these turned out. And then the other thing about this postage set is, on stamps, how those little holes line up on some of these, right? Like you can put them on here so they line up and they really look like stamps. And then there's a couple of these dies that are really teeny and they don't line up. So I wish I knew what they had in mind. Like I need to look up the Stampin' Up art. Okay, I'm looking for, just a second, I'm looking for some red hearts. I'm running out of red. I found pink. Is that pink? Oh, that's red. Okay. I realized, yikes, I need more red. Seriously. So I definitely want to put a little heart by the milk. Gosh, yes. Yes, I do. I want another little heart by the cookies. And maybe a little one down here. Now, the other thing that makes this look like postage is if you write in if you write in numbers like, 10 cents, 20 cents, whatever, and that, it kind of makes it. So like you can put it in any corner, 35 cents, right? 9 cents. Here I'm going to put 50 cents. Here I'll put 15. And here I'll do 3. And I just think it makes it look, if you want it to look like postage, it just looks more, like stamps if you have that. And I see how the borders are white. That really helps. Having the images right at the line, you know, really helps make it look more like stamped, like a stamp. I feel like that needs trimmed just a smidge. I'm being really picky, but there you go. But you know, cool, cool, cool. Chip, chip, hooray. So there's that one. Now, I also pulled out this set because this one would be very, very cool for a scenery, and you could turn it sideways. These stamps are small enough that you could totally do trees and then the reflection at the bottom, or water. You could do a dock. So the little boat, I mean, there's some options here. And so I pulled that out as a possibility. Look at the little birds. The other one I pulled out when I was getting out my cookies, I found this one. This one is from Summer Vibes, which was a long time ago, but I pulled it because look, I have all these things already cut and colored, and I thought, well, that would be fast. I might put something together using ice cream, because this is the thing I do, right? Is I make a whole bunch of stuff so I don't have to do it again when I come up with a project. And so I was like, well, this would work. So got dust in there. That's how old it is. It's got dust. Where is my, there it is. Okay, so I could, let's see, which way do I want this to go? I could put the ice cream cone and a snow cone. I could do a snow cone at the top. I could do a couple of popsicles here. All you need is love and sprinkles. That could be instead of this little one here. I could see it's already got the little bumps. I could just put that one there. And then down here at the bottom, I don't know. I have a stay cool. I have sprinkles. I could put another, I could put the watermelon, but that doesn't seem like it fits, does it? Anyway, this one, I thought, possibilities here, right? That would be really adorable. And if you add some, color of cardstock to this, you can really like jazz it up. So that's a possibility. I'm looking to see what I have in here because I'm like, gosh, I have all kinds of stuff. I obviously used a lot of these. Oh, I like the green. I could put the lime green. I love it. I love that. Oh, see at the bottom, I could just put stars or sprinkle. I could put stars or sprinkles or something in that little bottom. Cute. All right. I love that. So I may put that together. I just have to decide on what color cardstock I want with it to make it look cool. Okay. Now, just to review, I'm going to go back through the cards one more time just so you can see them. Here's donuts. I love the donuts, and I did them in pink and brown on purpose because I thought that was cool. Pink, brown, and a little bit of that glacier in the background. This one just has sprinkles, and I had this real sweet little bow. I had this ribbon. I need to use up my ribbon, man. I had a lot. There's the watermelon set with the embossing folder in the background, and I used a little piece of shimmer trim and black dots. I think that turned out really nice. The plant one, which I posted the other day. And those little flowers are super dimensional. These are from the Melon Mania. Cool. I posted this one the other day. I love it. This little postage thing right here comes from another Stampin' Up set. And I can't remember, is it the mailbox or there's another set that has that little postage. And I didn't get it out today. But it does help make it look more like a postcard if you weren't doing stamps, I guess. The little dog, which is like everybody's favorite, is so cute. And everybody's got little dogs or cats or critters. And my favorite, my new favorite is the soda pop. So, all right. And I bought this set twice by accident. So again, if you want this at like my cost, I have a second one. I don't know why I bought two. It was a mistake. Anyway, and look, I used your favorite embossing folder, Heather. I hope you love what I showed today and you have a great afternoon. Steve and I are going to go play. We're going to go do something fun today. So let me know if you need anything at all.